Yeah. So go ahead, Knight. What are your thoughts, man? You know, we.
So today is Mother's Day. Um, and like I said, I wanted to wish all the mothers happy Mother's Day. And I just want to drop a little bit of what my mom means to me.
Mm,
Um, uh, so I'm not what you call a mama's boy or anything
mm.
like that. I did go see my mom yesterday.
Nice.
And I went and visited with her for a while. Um, and we talked and we had a good time. And my nephew was there. We laughed and joked. Um, my my mom means a lot to me because I don't have my grandmother around anymore. Well,
Mm.
my mom means a lot to me anyway,
Anyway,
but
right.
I was basically raised by my grandmother,
Hmm.
and like
I
that's
don't
base
have my
like
grandmother.
now that she's not here.
Right.
My mom kind of stepped back into the role of being my mom. She
Right.
was
Yeah.
always in that role, but you
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And ne- you know, we weren't as close, I
Hmm.
think, for a while, but
Hmm.
now, we're starting to get closer,
Hmm.
and yeah, it's like I appreciate her more
Right.
now
Yeah.
than I did, when I was younger.
I,
You know
I
what I
think
mean?
part of that also, and I remember your grandma, Miss Ann, right?
Miss
And
Ann, that's right,
yeah, I
and
remember Miss Ann.
Black,
Yep.
Miss Ann
And
Black,
your grandpop. I remember your grandpop too.
yeah, chubby,
Um,
yeah,
but I think as we get older, the nature or the nature of the relationship changes. It becomes less about you know one advising. I mean that part never goes away, but it becomes more. It becomes more of that. You get more advice, a different type of advice. Put it that way.
yeah.
You know,
But
from
see,
the
I
mom.
used to be bitter. To be honest, I used to be bitter because I was kicked out of the house at 17,
I
right?
remember that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, I basically raised myself from the age of 17 to now.
Right.
You get what I mean? Like my
Yeah,
grandmother took care of me when I was a kid,
yeah, yeah.
but but from
But
17 to 50, what, 4 3,
right, right,
that and I kind of resented a lot of stuff from
right,
that. You know what I
right,
mean? Because
right.
I had a kid at 18.
Hmm. Hmm.
When she got, I had a girl
Right.
pregnant,
Yeah.
and then it was like my whole relationship with my family, my mom and all that broke down kind of. You know what
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I was so resentful for her putting me out
Hmm.
that we weren't really close for a long time. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
But
I mean,
now, I've had therapy and everything, man. So now I'm like over all the
right.
bullshit,
Right. Right.
and
Right.
I just take it for what it is, man. That's my mother, you know what I mean, and I love her, you know what I
And
mean.
as
That's
we
it.
get older, also, like we have a different level of understanding. You know, so
Right,
we have a better chance to see the other point of view. You know what I mean?
right.
And I look at the relationship that I have with my mom. I think my mother, our relationship changed because once I moved out, I that was it. I moved out at like 19 and never lived with, my mother again. But it wasn't, I moved out, so it wasn't a negative thing. But our relationship changed two times drastically. We really start having an understanding when I was around her so much when we were down at the club at Dowling's Palace.
Hmm.
I just happened to be around her a lot. But then with the last year, once I went through this transition, you know, having her guidance and advice in my ear, helped a lot. Because
Hmm.
this transition, I talked to you, you knew what was going on, and but
Right,
that was kind of it. That was kind of it.
right,
It might have been two or three other people that I talked to, but having being able to flush those things out,
right.
was real helpful. Like I said, so
Hmm.
our the relationship with my mom really changed a lot within the last, I would say, the last year or so. It really changed. You know,
Right.
so
Because your mom is always gonna be there for you. You
she'll
know what I
always be
mean?
there for you. Absolutely, absolutely.
Right.
You know, she helped me to get things together, and a lot of times your mom knows, they know you better than you know yourself, and I realize that because
Sometimes.
right, of course, but there were things that I would have been thinking, and she knew, and I would laugh because it's like, well, I wasn't even thinking of that in the forefront, but she was right. It was a thought of mine. You know, your mom really knows you. You
Right.
know,
Right.
so yeah, man. So it's a different level of appreciation for my mother. You know, and you know, and I guess that's the case with all family. You know, your family changes as we change. You know, your relationship with your family changes as well. You know,
Yeah, the
as you
family
go through different
dynamic
things.
changes. Right.
The family
Yeah.
dynamic changes, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny though, Mike? Boy,
hey,
we on
hey,
live podcast.
hey, Jermaine, you you got any thoughts on the Mother's Day? What you call it?
But this dog annoying me. Mom, don't buy your kids dogs.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah, yo, man.
because they become your dog.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
speaking as a
Right,
father.
right, right. Yeah.
yep.